Hey folks, one additional tool that I want you to be aware of for your assignment for this week, which will be coming tomorrow, is really hatching in Revit. So you may have done hatching in AutoCAD before, and maybe a more simpler way of describing what hatching is, in case you've never done it before, is like coloring or shading in areas with a color or texture. So in Revit, unlike AutoCAD, it's just a little different, but not all that different. So just like before, when we went to annotate detail line to draw all this line work, we are actually going to go to region instead. Region is what we want to click on, but if we click on that little down arrow, there's two available to us, filled region or masking region. We just want to do filled region. Okay, so here I am in the filled region tool. Now, if you remember from a previous lecture, when you see a red X and a green check, that sort of means you're in a tool. Okay, so you're like deep in a tool instead of just like drawing a wall or something like that. This particular tool has a sort of step to it where you have to hit the green check to say like, yeah, I'm done. I'm ready for you to sort of make what I'm asking you to. So in this case, we want to create a boundary that some sort of pattern or color could fill up. So let's say, for example, this is my drawing and I want to shade in this really cool looking hexagon right here. So there's a couple ways I could do it. I'm in the tool right now, the filled region tool. I could take my line tool and just do this. Sort of making a boundary that defines all sides of that. Now I hit the green check, and now I have a filled in region of this diagonal hatching. Okay, now let me just delete that. Okay, let's do it again. Region. So let me just escape this real quick and show you. If you just click this button, it'll automatically go to filled region. Okay, that's what it's set to. So I'm just going to click the button. I'm in the filled region. All right. So that's one way to make a boundary. Let's make one over here in space. Let's say I'm not really going to click on anything, but I want to draw a boundary over here. So I'm just going to do the rectangle. My line style here, notice, is set to thin lines. Let's go ahead and change that to wide lines. I'm just going to make a rectangle. Okay, hit the green check. Okay, this is essentially what a filled region is. We can define the boundary line to be whatever we want. And if I click on it, I can now define what I want the inside to be. Diagonal crosshatch, diagonal down transparent. Let's hold on that one. Diagonal up, horizontal lines, and you can kind of go down ortho crosshatch. And one that I use all the time, solid black. There we go. Oh, look at that, a solid black one. Now I can also adjust this a little bit depending on the shape that I have started with. Okay, so let's draw another one. Detail line. My lines, I'm going to set to invisible lines. And I'm just going to draw a crazy shape. Boom, there we go. Hit the green check. Okay, so now that's my boundary. And I made it with visible lines. Now watch when I click off of this. You can't see the boundary line. It's just the hatching. Very powerful tool. I definitely use that a lot. Now, if I had this set to solid black, that boundary line doesn't matter if it's invisible because clearly a boundary is made naturally by the inside. So something to think about. So that's basically how you do it. Now I want to show you one last thing here. Now let's say, hey, I like to have a gray kind of fill, not this like pure black, or I want a different pattern or something. What you can do is click on this. Now I'm gonna, instead of picking a different one, okay, I'm just gonna go right to here. It says edit type. Okay, I'm gonna click that. Okay, this is the current type that's in there, that diagonal crosshatch, correct? Okay, so let's make our own. I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna give it a name, and I'm gonna call it gray solid. Some people spell gray Gray. I always think of the color as Grey, but whatever. Gray solid. I'm gonna hit OK. Okay, so I've made a whole new type that's gonna be in my list over here. But now I have to change some of the entries in here. So foreground fill pattern. I'm going to click on this and change it to solid. Hit OK. Foreground pattern color. I'm just going to change this to, I'm going to move my, actually I'll just pick one here. How about this one right here? Pick that color, hit OK. Background pattern color, I don't even think you need to change it, but I'm going to change it anyway. Hit OK, and then I'll hit OK here, and now I have a nice gray solid hatch. Now if I grab this one over here, go to my list, gray solid, it's on my list here because I made a new type. I can select that and use it at my disposal. Now this one has a different boundary to it. Now, let's say I've made one and I want to change it though. So I don't want this dark boundary anymore. So I can click on that one. I can go up to edit boundary. So after you've clicked on it, I can go up to edit boundary right here. And I can select all the lines that make up the boundary and change. I'm not going to move them. I'm just going to change them to invisible lines, hit the green check. And now we're out of the tool and we've changed an existing one now to this gray with an invisible line. Now, just to show you that again, I want to make this one have a solid line. I like the solid gray hatch, but I'm going to go in here. I'm going to edit the boundary. I'm going to select everything, select all my boundary lines, and I'll change them to wide 02. Maybe even I want to move some around a little bit and adjust them and put them in different positions and hit green check. Now I have a whole new, looks like a tree or something, a whole new hatch with a wide boundary line. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you because this tool you're going to want to use at your disposal for your assignment. So if I click region, I can make my own boundaries. I can set my own boundary lines, line types, hit the green check, and we're done. And I can create new hatches in here by using edit type, duplicate, giving it a original name of your choice. Something that's descriptive is usually helpful. And then I can change, instead of solid, I can do the different hatches we see in here. So something else. Let's do vertical small. Hit OK. Now I have a vertical small hatch in here. Okay, so we made that one separate. So if I click on this, go in here, I have original on the list now. So I can make 100 of these if I wanted to, which would be a little weird, but you could. So that is how to do filled regions in Revit, and you'll use that for your assignment this week. All right, stay tuned tomorrow for that assignment. Thanks, guys.